gaze upon Yosemites. Christopher Columbus.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Action replays in magnified portion. We're going to be appointing very pro-crime judges. Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yeah. What? You can see it's a back door, but I call it a smart door. They said, ooh. Michigan gave us Motan. They said, ooh.
I had a beat off.
Where's Dick? Hi, Dick. Do we like Dick? Yeah. What?
I had a beat off.
All right. Today, we have an evening show that will not have the issues of the morning show as far as the bufferings and the things. I'm going to keep an eye on the dropped frameage and see if anything, be watching the whole show. I'm gonna have one eye on the quality of broadcast. It's gonna be one of those shows, isn't it? It's one of those things, you know.
Like an idiot.
I know, we can all feel it. There's just,
I agree. I'm a dope.
yes, some of us just have a difficult day with our technical issues, and you know, sometimes we got to get under the hood.
De-engineering.
Yeah, taking the whole thing apart, seeing what works, what doesn't, you know, and
Oh, yeah, that's normal.
yeah, and then fix it. Hi everybody, welcome. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Help me, because I think the next step has got to be I finally have a goal because of the frustration is to move out of the zone of the arguably, I was going to say prosumer, but sometimes it's, since OBS is free, the non-sumer, sure, why not? Fuck it. The broadcasting zone and actually get like an actual system. I think that might, yeah. I got scared, my hair puffed up. Like, I can't tell this is true. So, wish me luck. Lock in there, because today I predict to some degree, and I'm going to have some comedy support. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, YouTube is having problems. No, it does drop it. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, I just washed my hair, so yeah. And there's that weird strand that just won't. It's very Michael Jackson. I'm getting a Michael Jackson strand, and I don't know why. But fuck it. I don't mind. It's all right. Just let it dangle there. Who cares? So here's why. Here's why. This is why. This is fucking just barf. Just barf. So we're in for it. This is it. 48 minutes. And it's all the available footage I can find. I found one that was 11 hours long, and it turned out to just be this on a loop. I don't know who's doing that, but I don't know if that's torture or just being ridiculous. We may have to use some of those during the course of the... That's a good one. It's almost like it's asking a question. Excuse me, miss? Oh, it's over there on the left. It's behind the counter. Reach down. No, bend over. Reach down behind there. That's it. You found it. So, yeah, this is his deposition from the E. Jean Carroll case. You've seen pieces, and now you're going to see the whole goddamn thing. Wish us luck, because I think it's the perfect setup for his his town hall this week. I mean, this is basically, I don't even know why he bothers to do a town hall with CNN. As far as his supporters are concerned, why isn't this? This is a perfect example of his presidency, his ethics, his morals, his decision making, his mood. I mean, it's all there. What do you need? Crowd questions? Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so here we go. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, because there's nobody else doing long form stuff like this, like I do it. They just don't do it. They're all scared. Or they post it and walk away, which I don't understand at all. I don't get it. Anyways, here we go. And then after I get done with this, I get to hop into my car and drive to Los Angeles tonight. And just tomorrow, got the Ultimate Jam night. And I got some stuff to do during the day. And then we got the sound check, so I won't have a show tomorrow. And then I drive back right after the show like a maniac. And then Phil's with me on Wednesday, so I can be kind of, quite frankly, like sleep drunk. Which is the closest I get to actually ever being hammered, is just exhaustion. It's fascinating. I don't like it. But anyways, here we go. Ugh, lock in, kids. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me back this up. Hold on. Here, why does this jump ahead?
And by the early 1990s...
By the way, I don't know why it picks up where it does and when it does at all. This is just the piece that was released after some element of redaction. Also, there are jump cuts in this that are clearly a moment where his lawyers objected and said no, and they stopped, and then that was removed from the deposition.
Would it be fair to...
This is the one for the E. Jean Carroll case. The one for the Letitia James case is just him pleading the fifth 400 times. He thinks because this is a civil case that he doesn't have to do that. Although maybe he does. We'll find out. Let's go. I haven't seen the whole thing. So I've seen little pieces. Whatever.
To call you or to characterize you as a real estate tycoon.
Yeah.
Should they call you a tycoon? Fucking this guy refers to himself as a star in this one too. Like, as somebody with a ginormous ego, I find this embarrassing.
Trump Tower on Fifth Avenue, that was completed in 1983?
Around that time, yes.
And when did you move into your penthouse apartment there?
Maybe a year later.
So that place smells.
And that remained your primary residence until you were elected president, correct?
That's right.
That's right. Then I moved into the White House. I got evicted, and I've been living in Florida ever since. It's the story of a lot of down on their luck New Yorkers.
And where's Trump Tower located? I obviously know.
57th and 5th.
And at some point...
See those little jump cuts? Now, that might just be because they don't have to release the rest of it, or it might be because his attorney said, irrelevant, asked and answered, that kind of shit.
Point, you became the owner of the Plaza Hotel in New York, correct?
Yes.
And where's...
Plaza's nice. Well, where would you go? The Pierre. Then we are going to the Pierre.
The Plaza Hotel located?
59th off 5th Avenue.
And...
So Trump Tower isn't off 5th Avenue, it's on 5th Avenue? Interesting.
For how long were you the owner, withdrawn? During what years were you the owner of the Plaza Hotel?
I don't know the years, about 5 years.
And do you know when it began, when you bought it?
In the early 90s.
Okay. Now,
Again, I don't know why she's asking him that. Can you imagine owning the Plaza Hotel and not knowing when you owned it, when you signed the lease, or when you signed the purchase agreement, and when you sold it? Can you imagine just not knowing those numbers if you were a big real estate tycoon? Me neither.
In the 80s and 90s, is it fair to say you had a busy social life?
Ew.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you'd have to define social life. I wouldn't say that busy. I was working very hard, so I didn't have time to be too much onto the social calendar, but yeah.
Well, let me try.
Yeah, I only had a few narrow areas where I could go out. I was very busy, a lot of work going on. So it was basically just, the only time I really went out was with Jeffrey Epstein, kind of. So other than that.
Try to phrase it this way. In the evenings during that period, you went out quite a bit in New York City to benefits, galas, etc.
We're just talking about all the times. We're just trying to get an idea of just how much orange makeup you actually had to purchase. Hold on, I'm gonna bring this up a touch. It's not very loud for whatever reason.
A lot of charity events, yes, but
None of which I donated to. Just I would show up and, you know, kind of steal the valor of the charity without ever having to donate. It's pretty sweet.
I don't think that much. No.
So, in the period, in the 80s and
By the way, this is one of those moments where they're like, "Do you remember this moment?" No, I don't remember that at all. Can I show you a piece of paper that might help you remember? They do that a bunch in this.
90s, we've already discussed you would go to benefits and parties. And is it fair to say that a lot of those parties, there would be or benefits, there would be kind of a photography line either at the beginning or throughout the event?
A step and repeat, they're often called.
And that people
Yes, there was. And this is going to be really fucking embarrassing.
will take photographs like Getty images and then put them
That's right.
out. And this is another Getty Images printout. And is it fair to say that this document indicates that you were the Grand Marshal of the New York City Veterans Day Parade on November 10, 1995 in New York City?
Yes.
Similarly true.
It's just, it's the best thing I ever did for the veterans besides signing the Veterans Choice Act that Obama signed into law.
True that during this same period you made appearances on television, correct?
Yes.
Sitting here today, can you recall any TV interviews that you did that you remember?
I did everything.
Yeah, totally. I was I would go to the opening of an envelope. I mean, I really was indiscriminate, honestly. If I wasn't fairly certain or even cared where my kids came from, I'd have been on Maury. All that stuff.
You say everything. Give me some examples if you can.
I did the late night shows. I did the newscasts.
Yeah, and during those times, did you grip your hands like you were trying to save yourself from falling off a cliff? Because the body language here is pretty fucking telling. It's like, I don't even know how to unconnect my fucking hands after this. How do you even do it?
I even did some of the political shows on Sunday, even though I wasn't really in politics as I am now.
You're not in politics anymore. You're running for office again, but you're no longer a. I mean, I guess it's the whole: are you an actor when you're not acting, or are you a politician when you're not in office? Maybe.
But they wanted me to do that, and I did that. They'd ask me to do them all the time.
Yeah, anytime they needed some sort of clown they could beat up on, and Letterman loved, you know, pointing out what all New Yorkers knew about you.
So I did quite a bit of television.
I think you already answered this question, but just so the record is clear, did you watch the program Good Morning America from time to time in this period of the late 1980s through the mid-1990s?
Who didn't?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Did you appear on the Today Show during this period?
Yes.
Same question, did you watch the Today Show during this period?
A little bit.
During this period, did you have any friends in the television industry?
At this point, unless you're completely stupid, which he very well may be, you got to know that this lawyer is setting up. Basically, it's like someone walking around in a room with 8 doors in it, and they want you to go out one particular door, so they are locking 7 of the doors, and they're just walking around while they talk to you, locking one of the doors, locking one. That's how lawyers work. And if he can't...
Who worked in the television industry?
Probably. But I wasn't much involved at that point in the television industry, but I
You still aren't.
probably did.
Anyone come to mind right now?
Hosting a game show is not being involved in the television industry, just for the record.
Maybe Bob Wright.
Who was Bob Wright?
He was the head of NBC, I think, at that time.
What about Roger Ailes? When did you become friends with Roger
Later,
Ailes? Approximately?
during the more in the 7-8 year ago period.
More in the 7-8 year ago period. I know if I'm stuck on shit like this, we'll be here all goddamn night. But can I just say that's fucking weird? Where did he learn to talk? When did you become friends with Roger Ailes? I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, maybe 9. As opposed to more in the 7, 8 year ago period.
What years were you married to your first wife, Ivana Trump?
So,
Well, you can't exactly be more specific than you were about the purchase and sale of a building. So it's all going to be watery.
78 to the early 90s.
Your next wife was a woman by the name of Marla Maples.
Right.
And with a name like that, did you meet her in an Archie comic book? Or...
And sitting here today, do you recall what years you were married to Ms. Maples?
I feel like I should have the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme just available at all times.
I'd have to get the exact dates for you. I can do that very easily.
You could call Marla. She could tell you.
In the course of your dating life and your married life, did you have occasion to buy gifts for women you were seeing?
Not much, actually.
Well,
Yes. I've been married 3 times. I've dated a bunch. But I don't really give them gifts. You know what? Being with me is enough of a gift. A lot of them, I tried to give them gifts, but they were just like, you are enough, stud muffin. I could say that, right? Because they're not checking, are they? They're checking. Oh, I don't recall. No, probably not.
I mean, if it was a birthday or something, I guess, yeah.
and other than birthday presents, did you buy gifts?
Nah, yeah, never buy chicks stuff unless it's a specific, like apology. And even then, you know what I mean? If she needs to apologize to you, buy yourself a gift and tell her you bought, you know what I'm saying?
For women you were dating.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't think very much now.
Well, we know you don't think very much. It's that's kind of obvious.
I don't read, obviously.
I take it you bought gifts for your wives for their birthdays?
Yes, generally.
And I take it you bought gifts.
Generally, because, like, for example, recently, he forgot it was Melania's birthday.
For women you were dating?
It's, probable.
At least in your first marriage, you were seeing women outside of your marriage while you were married, correct?
I don't know.
Well, you were
I don't know that was considered outside my marriage, because what's marriage
very
really?
public about the fact that you were seeing Ms. Maples when you were still married to Ivana Trump, no?
No, I don't think I was public about it.
Well,
No.
there were many articles about it at the time, correct?
No, I don't think I was public about it. But no, I don't think I was public about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't it true that you were seeing Ms. Maples before you were divorced from Ivana Trump?
I don't know. It's
Yes, he does. Of course he does. Of course he does. Quit it.
it was toward the end of the marriage, so I don't know really. There could be a lap over, but I don't really know.
It could be a lap over, but I don't really know. A lap over, ladies and gentlemen. That's what most people would call it, cheating and dumping your wife for a newer, younger model. This is just a lap over, because I guess he was just using it to cover his lap.
Did you
I
ever
don't know.
have occasion to go to the department store Bergdorf Goodman?
Very rarely.
Well, we're only worried about one particular time, asshole.
You say very rarely. Can you give me more detail? How rarely?
I mean, almost never. I would very rarely go there.
Unless there was a real good opportunity.
When you went there, what do you recall shopping for?
I don't know. It's possible I was there, but I don't know that I ever shopped there for myself.
So when you shopped there for yourself, to the extent you went there, you were shopping for others?
I don't think I ever shopped for others.
Yeah, if I'm going to buy something, it's going to be for me. Why would I ever buy something for other people?
Possible that one or both of my wives shopped there a little bit, but I don't remember ever
Yeah, so it was a lap over. He had two wives at once.
buying something for myself at Bergdorf Goodman. I went there very seldom, almost if ever.
Then let's limit it to Bergdorf's. Bergdorf's was pretty close to Trump Tower and very close to the Plaza Hotel, correct?
Yeah, but he doesn't actually walk.
That's right.
He has to take a car everywhere.
I'm handing you a document that's been marked as DJT 18. It bears the Bates range. Carol
Which is like COVID-19, only slightly more disgusting.
24378 through 24385. You have that in front of you?
Yeah.
Sitting here today, do you recognize this document?
No.
I will represent to you that this is the excerpt from Ms. Carroll's book that was published in New York Magazine online, originally online, on June 21, 2019.
Okay.
At any point in time, did you read this article?
I don't read, obviously. Excuse me?
Did you ever read this article, this document?
No, I don't believe I did.
I'm sending you a book. It's marked as DJT 19. It's a book by E. Jean Carroll. It says, "What do we need men for?" And
This is how he reads a book. This is he goes, and then that's it. Basically, just because he's got that kind of a brain. His uncle was at MIT or something, so it just kind of like the words just kind of just splurt into his eye sockets.
if you look at the publication date,
Yeah, sorry, the volume is low. I'll try and boost it as much as I can, but it's. Hold on one second. Maybe if I bring myself down and bring the entirety of the streaming thing up, perhaps that would do it. Check one. I'll try to do this real quick, if I may. How about this? I'll try to. Hopefully that'll help. Give me a.
it says first edition, July 2019. Do you have that? You have
Yeah.
that book in front of you? I'm sitting here today, sir. Have you ever read either this book in its entirety or any portion of this book?
No.
Yeah.
I don't read, obviously. No, never have. I've never seen the book, actually.
Okay. You responded
I'm not even sure what a book is. I mean, I know books exist, but I've heard about them.
publicly to Ms. Carroll's allegations on the same day that the excerpt was published in New York Magazine, which was June 21, 2019, correct?
I think so.
Let's take a look at that. So what we've handed you as DJT 20 is a blown up, for legibility purposes, version of a tweet posted by a woman by the name of Laura Litvin at 5:17 p.m. on June 21st, 2019. Do you have that in front of you?
Yes.
The statement that is in this tweet, is this a statement that you gave?
I mean, essentially, that's what I said, yeah.
If you could read that statement into the record. It says, statement from President Donald J. Trump. Regarding the quote story
Oh, yeah. He says no and makes her
unquote,
read it.
by E. Jean Carroll, claiming she once encountered me at Bergdorf Goodman 23 years ago. I've never met this person in my life. She is trying to sell a new book that should indicate her motivation. It should be sold in the fiction section. Shame on those who make up false stories of assault to try to get publicity for themselves or sell a book or carry out a political agenda, like Julie Swetnick, who falsely accused Justice Brett Kavanaugh. It's just as bad for people to believe it, particularly when there is zero evidence. Worse still, for a dying publication to try to prop itself up by peddling fake news. It's an epidemic. Ms. Carroll and New York Magazine, no pictures, no surveillance, no videos, no reports, no sales attendants around, question mark. I would like to thank Bergdorf Goodman for
There was another question mark I would like to say for the record.
confirming they have no video footage of any such incident because it never happened. False accusations diminish the severity of real assault. All should condemn false accusations and any actual assault in the strongest possible terms. If anyone has information that the Democratic Party is working with Ms. Carroll or New York Magazine, please notify us as soon as possible. The world should know what's really going on.
Yeah, I know they are, but I don't have any evidence of that. But if you do know about it, tell us. And it doesn't even have to be true.
It's a disgrace, and people should pay dearly for such false accusations. See, that's what you have in front of you?
Yeah.
And I think you've already confirmed that this is a statement that you gave to someone on your staff to give to the press.
Yeah.
Let's mark as DJT-21, a document bearing the base range.
They give a copy to his attorney and to him, and then they get to look at it for a second.
DJT-21, this is the next one, right? DJT-21, a document bearing the base range MP 1795 through MP, I've got it. It's just
Words, I don't know. It's got White House stuff on it, I don't know, words.
1807. You have that in front of you?
Yeah.
And these are statements that were put out when you were President of the United States?
Yeah.
And if you look at the top...
And you're no longer President of the United States? And that happened a couple of years ago? And apparently you've been trying to undo that, but you've been completely unsuccessful? So you failed massively 2 years ago to keep your office, to keep your job, and you've been trying to get that job back for the last couple of years, and with no avail, and your best friend sells pillows. Is that basically, can we put that objection? All right. Sustained. I'll rephrase. So can you read?
Email, kind of the address of the email, it says under that, remarks by President Trump before Marine One departure.
Yes.
Marine One is a helicopter.
Yes.
And if you look where it shows you speaking about halfway or 2/3 of the way down the document, it says, the very first thing you say, so we're going to Camp David.
Yes.
So am I correct in interpreting this as this is a statement you made
As he's walking around closing doors.
while boarding or getting on to Marine One
Looks like it.
to go to Camp David?
It looks like it.
Okay. Let's go now to the third statement.
But you really can't trust classified documents coming out of the White House because, the CIA wasn't even showing me the real stuff. I found out most of the stuff they let me leave with was a setup. None of it's even true. The Russians were very disappointed. It was supposed to get me out of a couple of loans, and never mind. On the advice of counsel, I'm going to shut the fuck up.
Which we're going to mark as, this one I can do, DJ-222. You have in front of you, sir, a document, 5-page document. The first page says in bold type, exclusive, Trump vehemently denies E. Jean Carroll allegations, says she's not my type. It's
Oh, Jesus Christ.
from a publication known as The Hill. It's dated June 24th, 2019, and it's attributed to the gentleman Jordan Fabian, and or maybe not be gentleman. It's attributed
Well, he might not be a gentleman at all. We don't know. He could be a complete cad.
to two people, Jordan Fabian and Cigar and Genti. You see that?
Yes.
So this is 2 days after the last statement we're looking at, which was on June 22nd. Do you recall having an interview with reporters from The Hill on June 24th, 2019?
Best memory in the world.
Vaguely, yes.
Right, yeah. Best memory of anybody.
And do you recall where that interview took place?
I think it was in the Oval Office.
And you're quoted just below that paragraph as saying as follows, and this one I'll read. I'll say it with great respect. Number one, she's not my type. Number two, it never happened. It never happened, okay? And then the reporters say, the president said while seated behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. See that?
Yes, I do.
And the statement that I just read that begins, I'll say it with great respect. That was a statement that you made to the reporters for The Hill on June 24, 2019, correct?
Yes.
And same
Yeah, totally.
set of questions.
I only regret not using the word pig.
I take it, sir, that you stand by that statement today?
Yes, I do.
So before you made your statements that it never happened in 2019, did you or anyone on your staff reach out to anyone at Bergdorf Goodman?
I didn't have to reach out to anybody because it didn't happen. And by the way, if it did happen, it would have been reported within minutes. Talking about going to a major floor, probably, I assume, the most important floor.
Yeah, one of the best floors of all the floors. Like, don't even get me started on the ceiling.
A major floor
In a major department
in a
store.
major department store.
Very major, like major. These are one of the most major, like, it was the thickest floor. It was the widest floor. I don't know if you've ever seen the building. It balloons in the middle.
That's a very busy store, by the way. And checkout counters and everything else. And I would be in there. I mean, it's the most ridiculous, disgusting story. It was just made up.
After you made
He's talking about his statement.
the statements that you made in June of 2019, did you or anyone working for you reach out to Bergdorf Goodman?
After the statement was made, no.
In your June 21 statement that's marked
Before, yeah. I mean, did you notice how I dodged that question entirely?
as Exhibit 20, you say, and this is the Litvin tweet, I never met this person in my life.
Yes.
Was that a true statement when you made it on June 21, 2019?
It was a true statement when I made it. I think subsequently, or at some point, they showed a picture on a receiving. I was on a celebrity line for a charity, and I think I was either shaking her hand or her husband's hand on a receiving line. Like I say, shake a lot of hands with people, but I had no idea who she was.
So at the, if I can understand your testimony, sir, you're saying that at the time you made the statement that's in DJT
So it wasn't true at the time, you had just forgotten.
20.
That's an interesting turn. The idea that something is true about when he says definitively he's never met her, instead of I don't think I've ever met her.
You were not aware of ever having met Ms. Carroll. You have since seen a photograph that shows you with Ms. Carroll on a receiving line. Correct?
Along with a lot of other people. This was,
Yeah, so
it was a very public, I think it was a charity or a celebrity event or something.
Yeah, it was a celebrity charity event. It was a thing. It was like it was a charity for pussy grabbers. Local 355
And
local 319.
I think that's her
Okay, so let's.
big claim to fame, you know, that she shook my hand at some celebrity event.
Yeah, that's what everybody tells. Everybody I meet go, yeah, I shook hands with Trump once. You might want to shake the other one.
So the answer to my question is yes. That after you made the statement, you became
This part is so ugly.
aware that there's a photo of you
Ugh.
with Ms. Carroll in a receiving line,
At
correct?
some point,
Okay.
I saw there was a photo on a receiving line, yes.
Okay. Let's mark the photo. What number are we at? What?
This is one of the most fucked up moments in a deposition I have ever seen that didn't involve like a fugitive murderer.
You have in front of you a black and white photograph that we've marked as DJT 23. And I'm going to ask you, is this the photo that you were just referring to?
Oh God, this is so fucking embarrassing.
I think so, yes.
And do you recall when you first saw this photo?
At some point during the process, I saw
During the process.
that's, I guess her husband, John Johnson, who was an anchor for ABC, nice guy.
NBC, ABC? I don't know. The Chiron is different.
I thought, I mean, I don't know him, but I thought he was pretty good at what he did. I don't even know who the woman, let's see, I don't know who, it's Marla.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah, that's my wife.
Which one?
Fucking hell. Marla's not in that. Ivana's to his right, And the woman he's pointing at is Eugene, is Miss Carroll. So not only is the whole like, she's not my type shit is so fucked up, considering he mistakes her for the woman that he later married and cheated on his wife at the time with.
What woman are you pointing to? No.
Here. Oh, is that,
The person you just pointed to was
I
E.
see.
Jean Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
And the woman on the right is your then wife,
I don't know.
Ivana?
This was the picture. I assume that's John Johnson. Is that
That's Carol.
Carol?
Yeah, so it's the guy you were just talking about standing next to his wife and not your mistress while your other wife was standing right there. Good Lord.
Because it's very blurry.
Now, in your June 21 statement, which is...
Gee, can we? I mean, honestly, the entire she's not my type, you're not my type either bullshit, which I believe is coming up, and he thinks that's his fucking wife. He thinks, well, it's his mistress at the time. He thinks that's Marla Maples. It's E. Jean Carroll. Good Lord.
In your June 21 statement, which is DJT 20, you said that Ms. Carroll was trying to sell a new book, and that you said shame on those who make up false stories of assault to try to get publicity for themselves.
You know, shame on people who make up any stories, like all the stories in The Art of the Deal, for example. Shame on me. Oh, I didn't write it. Shame on my ghostwriter.
Sell a book.
No. That's right.
Before you made that statement, did you have any knowledge, one way or the other, of the financial arrangements between Ms. Carroll and the publisher of her book?
No.
Did you even know who her publisher was?
No.
Had you ever seen her book contract?
No.
Did you know anything about Ms. Carroll's financial situation?
No.
Did you know anything about her expected book sales?
No idea.
Before you made the statement that appears in DJT 20, do you know whether you or anyone working for you did any research on Ms. Carroll?
I just don't know. It's possible somebody, when they heard this horrible accusation, it's possible that somebody did a little quick research, but not that I know of.
Nobody, you know, they could have, you know, somebody like, I don't know, who's the guy who worked for me who dosed the stripper, gave her roofies and the abortion pill? He might have looked it up. Still got that vice grip on his arms.
Another thing that you say in your June 21 statement is that Ms. Carroll was trying to carry out a political agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, like chick stuff.
Before issuing your statement on June 21, did you learn what political party Ms. Carroll
No,
belonged to?
I didn't know that.
I just assumed that people who listen to me, you know, I basically, anytime somebody turns on me or is disloyal, I say they're basically a Democrat. So I was just doing that one. You know what I mean? There's a couple of go-tos.
Before you issued your June 21 statement, did you have any documents indicating that she was pursuing a political agenda?
No.
At the end of your statement, your June 21 statement, you say, if anyone has information that the Democratic Party is working with Ms. Carroll or New York Magazine, please notify us as soon as possible. Did anyone ever notify you
I
about
don't
that?
know.
You don't know? So if they had, you might have just missed it.
sitting here today, you can't recall anyone who notified you?
I don't know. Yeah.
Best memory in the world. Just the
I
whole.
don't read, obviously.
One of the other things that you said about Ms. Carroll at the time appears in your June 24 statement,
Somebody like that can write good.
which is DJT 22. And what you said there is, I'll say it with great respect. Number one, she's not my type. When you said that Ms. Carroll was not your type,
Did you realize that you had once that you would in future after you said that almost certainly mistake her for a woman you had an affair with while you were married to your first wife, and then later married, and then oddly bragged about the size of her breasts and hoped that your daughter would have similar breast size?
you meant that she was not your type physically, right?
I saw her in a picture.
And I was like, oh my God, she reminds me of Marla. And sure, at the time, I cheated on my wife and then married her. But now, looking back, I would totally go back. Can we, hold on. Let's see. Trump picture of Marla Cinco de Mayo. Oops. I can spell. Hold on. Yeah. She totally was not my type in any way, shape, or form. And you can tell by the fact that in my fucked up Cinco de Mayo photo that I posted, and I'm eating this thing, I don't even notice that I was, while married to Melania, looking at old pictures of her when she was a Hawaiian tropic model, while eating bean salad. Uh-huh.
I didn't know what you looked like. And I said it, and I...
Now that you've seen her in a picture and you mistook her for your ex-wife, does that change your feeling about it?
say it with as much respect as I can, but she is not my type.
And again, when you say type, you just refer to looking at photos, so you mean physically she's not your type?
Physically, she's not my type, and now that I've gotten indirectly to hear things about her, she wouldn't be my type in any way, shape, or form.
But
Yeah, apparently she doesn't take shit enough.
when you were talking back on June 24th, you were referring to her not being your type physically,
I
correct?
saw a photo of her,
Okay.
and the only difference between me and other people is I'm honest. She's not my type.
And he literally just mistook her for his ex-wife.
I take it the 3 women you've married are all your type.
Yeah.
What is True Social?
It is a good question. I've wondered this myself.
It's a platform that's been opened by me as an alternative to Twitter.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly. What a great way to define it.
And your handle on True Social is at Real Donald Trump?
I believe so, yes.
So you couldn't even get just Donald Trump on your own network. You had to use real Donald Trump. Is that because you have no verification ability, or because you're just dumb, or
Okay. Now,
it's because somebody else on your stupid social media thing had Donald Trump before you got it, and somebody else took Donald J. Trump, so you can't even use that?
on October 12th, just a few days ago, you issued a statement on True Social about Ms. Carroll in this case, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And
You believe so. Well, like you could believe wrong.
the
Here she comes. She's going to lock a door.
statement that you posted, who wrote that statement?
I did.
You yourself?
Yeah.
Did you post the statement yourself?
Yes.
I do all my own stuff. It's part of my contract as an influencer. Basically an Instagram model, but better.
And in addition to posting the statement on True Social, you also sent it to the press.
Yes. It's called truth and post. We post much like, how would you say it? We put out a statement and we also put it on truth.
Okay, that's a grown man attempting to talk. What the fuck does that even mean? It's called truth and post? First of all, when you post something on Truth Social, it's called a truth. So what the shit? It's called a truth and post and pin and pop and doodle and flam and it's a...
Okay, let's look.
It's called Truth and Post. It's a system we have. I came up with it myself. It's chapter 9 in Art of the Deal, part 3, The Reckoning.
At the statement. Let's mark it as. What's my next number? 28. DJT 28. Okay, so this one.
I can't read this.
Well, we have a blown
I can't read it. I said it, but I don't know what it says.
up version. Let's mark it as 28 and 28A.
I don't believe it. I don't believe they're the same document. The little tiny one says something different than the big giant one. And there's a picture.
So what we have in front of you is DJT 28, sir, is the post as it appeared on True Social on October 12, 2022, and a blown up version, because we appreciate the reading. The type is very small, a blown up version that should be more legible. Do you have
I
both
can
of those?
see it, yeah.
Okay. So it says October 12, 2022, statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. This, quote, Ms. Bergdorf Goodman case is a complete con job. And our legal system in this country, and our legal system in this country, but especially in New York State, just look at Peekaboo James.
Which, by the way, him tap dancing around a racist lead-in for that. Again, few things disgust me like that one.
Is a broken disgrace. You have to
Is a broken disgrace.
fight for years and spend a fortune in order to get your reputation back from liars, cheaters, and hacks.
Yeah, but you hired him. You mean your staff and the people in the White House that or are you talking about other people? I'll say is right.
This decision is from the judge who was just overturned on my same case. I don't know this woman, have no idea who she is, other than it seems she had a picture of me many years ago with her husband shaking my hand on a reception line at a celebrity charity event. She completely made up a story that I met her at the doors of this crowded New York City department store and within minutes swooned her. Swooned is in quotes. It is a hoax and a lie, just like
Ew.
all the other hoaxes that have been played on me for the past 7 years.
Boo fuckity who.
And while I'm not supposed to say it, I will. This woman is not my type, exclamation point. She has no idea what day, what week, what month, what year, or what decade this so-called event, in quotes, supposedly took place.
Which she clearly does.
The reason she doesn't know is because it never happened, and she doesn't want to get caught up with details or facts that could be proven wrong. If you watch Anderson Cooper's interview with her, where she was promoting a really crummy book,
A really crummy book.
you will see that it is a complete scam. She changed her story from beginning to end after the commercial break to suit the purposes of CNN and Andy Cooper.
He's trying to be derogatory towards Anderson Cooper by doing kind of like a Lil Andy thing, but
Our justice system is broken, along with almost everything else in our country.
yeah, I mean, the plumbing is fucked.
Her lawyer is a political operative and Cuomo crony who goes around telling people that the way to beat Trump is to sue him all over the place.
And she says something about like anybody who talks about themselves in the third person like that is a complete asshole.
She is suing me on numerous frivolous cases, just like this one, and the court system does nothing to stop it.
What time does the wambulance get here?
In the meantime, and for the record, E. Jean Carroll is not telling the truth, is a woman I had nothing to do with, didn't know, and would have no interest in knowing her if I ever had the chance. Now
Yeah, knowing isn't the problem, except I suppose in the biblical sense, you creep.
All I have to do is go through years more of legal nonsense in order to clear my name of her and her lawyer's phony attacks on me. This can only happen to, quote, in quotes, Trump, exclamation point. That, did I read that correctly?
Great statement. True.
And
Yes, true. It can only happen to Trump, the name Trump. It just, for whatever reason, like it means the name Trump is like a magnet for shit. It's almost like I surround myself with shitty people and then my name becomes synonymous with ass. It's just weird.
now
It's true.
that you've heard it again and you have it in front of you, you're again confirmed that you wrote the whole thing yourself.
I wrote it all myself.
I might all by myself but do that thing.
Somebody like that can write good.
That's right.
All myself.
Did you?
All by myself.
I don't read, obviously.
Now, at the beginning of your post, the reference Ms. Bergdorf Goodman is a reference to Ms. Carroll, right?
That's right.
Now, when you say in here, I don't know this woman and have no idea who she is, even though you're using the present tense, you're referring back to your knowledge as of when she first made the allegation.
I still don't know this woman. I think she's a whack job. I have no idea. I don't know anything about this woman other than what I read in stories and
What I read in
what I
stories.
hear. I know nothing about her.
That's horseshit. Especially if someone accused you of sexual assault fraudulently, you would know everything about her by now. You would go, I never met this woman. I've found out a lot, though, since, because you want to know who's attacking you. And I found out this, right? No one would fault you for that. No jury would fault you for that. The idea is like, I still don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. I don't know. I made all these things about her being awful and stuff, but I don't really know.
Okay, well, I guess the distinction I'm trying to make, sir, is that when the allegation came out in 2019, you said I think it's your testimony, that you had no idea who she was.
So I still don't.
Well, today you at least know that she's a plaintiff in a case suing you, correct?
Oh, yes, that I know.
Okay.
But I know nothing about her. I think she's sick, mentally sick.
Okay.
Well, I mean, anybody who's been mauled by you, it would be understandable if there was some damage.
You say in this post, you use a strange word which I want to ask you about. You say she completely made up a story that I met her at the doors of this crowded New York City department store and within minutes swooned her. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What does swoon her mean?
That would be a word, maybe accurate or not, having to do with talking to her and talking to her to do an act that she said happened, which didn't happen.
He swooned her. Swooned as a verb. Swooning to swoon, to actively to be swoon-like, to perform swoon-like.
And it's a nicer word than the word that starts with an F. And this would be a word that I use because I thought it would be inappropriate to use the other word. And it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, we understand you have performance issues, but that's still doesn't explain fucking swooned her.
Okay, I was curious when I read this, so I looked up the word swoon in the dictionary. And under the dictionary, it means to faint with extreme emotion. That's not what you meant here.
Objection to form.
Objection for him. He doesn't know what he meant, Your Honor. This is wrong. Why? That's Alina Haba Haba, by the way.
Well, sort of. That's what she said I did to her. She fainted with great emotion. She actually indicated that she loved it. Okay? She loved it until commercial break. In fact, I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be raped. Didn't she say that?
Jesus Christ. No, she did
I
not.
just want to confirm. It's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, based on her interview with Anderson Cooper, I believe that's what took place.
Yeah. I swooned her. She was all swoony at the time. She seemed to love it. And now she still does. Like, no matter what she says, it's funny. Like, I was watching the interview, and it was like her mouth was saying no, but her body was saying yes to Andy Cooper. You know how?
We can define that. You'll have to show that. I'm sure you're going to show that. But she was interviewed by Anderson Cooper, and I think she said that rape was sexy, which it's not, by the way. But I think she said that rape was sexy, and she actually said things that were very strange.
So you don't know anything about her, but you've memorized this alleged interview.
And then she was a different person after when he said, we'll take a break right now. We're going to take a break right now. He didn't like what she was saying. He was very upset with and then she came back and she was a much different woman in the second half, so to speak.
And so the question I'm asking you is, did she say in that interview that she loved being sexually assaulted by you?
Well, she said something to that effect.
All right, we're gonna have to take a small detour, kids. Hold on. Jean Carroll, Anderson Cooper. I'm guessing that should show up. Part 1. Everyone speaks to Anderson Cooper. That's the earlier one. I guess this is 6 years
Jessica
ago.
Leeds, as you'll hear her
Here you go. This is the interview that he's referring to.
say, concedes that what she's alleged happened a long time ago. As you'll also hear her say, it left a mark. We spoke late today. So when was the first time you saw Donald Trump?
Oh, this is Jessica Leeds. Hold on one second. This is another person he attacked in the 70s. One second. I'm losing track of all of his. Let's see. Jessica Leeds on taking the stand. Speaks about her claim. Okay, this is 3 years. This might be.
This was kind of a new.
I think. Let's see.
For you, this was kind of a New York moment. Like one of
the
those
best
things.
just like the best New York. Donald Trump is going to put on a filmy bodysuit. It's like, oh, I couldn't. So let's go in the dressing room. I thought, yeah, I'm going to make him put those pants on. Walked in, and the minute I was in there, he shut the door and pushed me up against the wall and banged my head on the wall and kissed me. It was so shocking. He put his shoulder against me to hold me against the wall. And at that point, I realized that I was in a very difficult situation.
Did he say anything?
No. It was just like, we're going to do this thing. We're just so hot for each other. Why would I even try to think what he was thinking? Anyway, so he pushed me, held me with his shoulder, and I was wearing a coat dress and tights, and he pulled down the tights.
Given the prior accusations, which have all been of forms of assault or harassment, you're saying there was actual penetration.
Yes.
Did you, which puts it into a different category of any of the other women who have come forward. I think that is the definition of rape. One definition.
That's the definition. Yes.
How long?
Brief. Mm-hmm. Brief, because when a woman is stamping her feet,
and that's what you were doing. You started stamping your feet.
I always think back and think, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done. I should never have done it. And then I didn't behave.
When you say I should have never done it, you mean?
That was just a dumb thing, to go into a dressing room with a man that I hardly know and have him shut the door and then be unable to stop him. And I was a competitive athlete, so I wasn't like I didn't freeze. I rose to the occasion, and it did not last long. And that's why I don't use the word you just used. I use the word fight.
I have no idea who this woman is. This is a woman who's also accused other men of things, as you know. It is a totally false accusation. I think she was married, as I read. I have no idea who she is, but she was.
I love how, like, this. By the way, this is 3 years ago. This is before the the deposition we're watching. This is him talking about it, going, I don't really know who she is, but apparently she's been accused by other men of stuff, and she makes this kind of shit up, and that's how she is, and I don't know anything about her. And 3 years fucking later, he's still telling the same bullshit story. I don't know who she is. Or you fucking well know who she is.
Married to a actually nice guy, Johnson, a newscaster. Standing with my coat on in a line. Give me a break. With my back to the camera. I have no idea who she is.
And yeah, there. By the way, this is 3 years ago, this fucking picture. And he just said, like, I don't know, I think I've seen this. I don't know, I think I've seen this or whatever. Of course he has.
What she did is, it's terrible. What's going on?
Uh-huh. Right. It's just so gross.
I mean, you'll have to take a look at the interview yourself. I believe she said rape was sexy, to which Anderson Cooper is dying. He's saying, let's get to a commercial break immediately. I think you better watch.
Yeah, I don't, let's see. There we go. Should we, let's see. I want to try and see if I can find more of it. Is this the full version? This, no, that's not the Anderson Cooper one. I'm trying to find the full one. Uh-huh. Trump is in a walking tour here. They called out Trump. Nope, that's John. Yeah. Okay, that's the only part about I can find, but it's clear she's not selling this as a sexy thing. To me, anyways.
The interview, I'm sure you have, but you better watch the interview.
In the interview, when Ms. Carroll talked about rape being sexy, isn't it true that she said that's a view that many other people hold?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. All I know is I believe she said rape is sexy or something to that effect, but
I was too busy masturbating, honestly.
you have to watch the interview. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Well, then you might not want to bring it up, fuckhead.
And just to clarify, I think you said a few minutes earlier that you used the word swooned as a synonym for, you said the F word, for sexual intercourse?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's because that's what she said.
It's like the most awful office moment in the history of the world.
What do you mean? She never used the word swooned.
No, she said that I did something to her that
Look at the camera. Like, she said that
never took place. There was no anything. I know nothing about this nut job.
this nut job 3 years ago. He's basically, I don't know anything about her, but this, and this, and this, and this.
Okay, then you go on to say in the statement, and while I am not supposed to say it, I will. Why were you not supposed to say it?
Because it's not politically correct to say. Read the next, go ahead, that she's not my type. Yeah, because it's not politically correct to say it, and I know that, but I'll say it anyway. She's accusing me of rape. A woman that I have no idea who she is. It came out of the blue. She's accusing.
I don't even, I'm supposed to remember all the women I shoved up against walls in dressing rooms and changing rooms over the course of my disgusting life. Who could even, I'd need another assistant.
Accusing me of rape, of raping her.
Which one? Hold on.
The worst thing you can do, the worst charge, and you know it's not true too. You're a political.
Oh, the video. I'm sorry. Beg your pardon. I was too busy looking at the screen.
Also.
You didn't need to see him. You hear it.
You're a disgrace.
Oh, this bullshit. So that we've seen this part.
Of rape.
This is where he starts getting mad because because her attorney
is raping her. The worst thing you can do, the worst charge, And you know it's not true too. You're a political operative also. You're a disgrace. But she's accused.
How does this asshole think this helps him with a fucking jury? Do they think they're just gonna buy this shit? Sorry, I brought up. Yeah, like
Me, and so are you, of rape, and it never took place. And I will tell you, I made that statement, and I said, while it's politically incorrect, she's not my type, and that's 100% true. She's not my type.
Now,
he mistook her for his fucking wife.
in your True Social statement on October 12, you use the word hoax. Specifically, you say it is a hoax and a lie. Just
Oh, don't trigger him telling you all the other everything's a hoax. Russia, 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 Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax what? Impeachment hoax number 2.
like all the
Jesus
other
Christ, we all
hoaxes
could
that
do
have
it
been
by
played on
rote.
me for the past 7 years. Do you see that?
Yeah.
I recall making that statement. And I take it what you're saying there is Ms. Carroll fabricated her claim that you sexually assaulted her, correct?
Yes, totally.
Now-
100%.
Fair to say, you'd agree with me, would you not, that you use the term hoax quite a lot?
Yes, I do.
Yes, it works very well with my dumber followers. Not all of them.
CNN reported that you used it more than 250 times in 2020. Does that sound right
Could
to you?
be. I've had a lot of hoaxes played on me. This is one of them.
And how would you define the word hoax?
A fake story, a false story, a made-up story,
Something that's not true.
something that's not true. Yes.
Sitting here today, can you recall what else you have
Oh, fuck, don't do this to me.
referred to as a hoax?
Sure. The Russia hoax. It's been proven to be a hoax.
Nope.
Ukraine hoax. The
And again, that wasn't a hoax. He literally, the phone call, like he's like complaining about the perfect phone call, blah, blah, blah. But he's going to send Rudy over to talk to him and deny him arms until he agrees to do this investigation.
Mueller
Good Lord.
situation for 2.5 years hoax. Ended in no collusion. It was a whole big hoax.
It was a whole big hoax.
The lying to the Pfizer court hoax.
Which was, I guess, a hoax because no one lied to the FISA court except to try and help him.
The lying to Congress many times hoax by all these
By all
people,
these,
this scum that we have in our country.
yes, these filth, scum, dirt people that come in and they lie to Congress.
Congress.
Oh, terrible. People who lie to Congress.
The spying on my campaign hoax. They spied on my campaign and now they admit it.
No, they don't.
That was another hoax. And I could get a whole list of them. And this is a hoax too.
This, when you say this and that,
There's this ridiculous situation that we're doing right. It's a big fat hoax. She's a liar and she's a sick person, in my opinion. Really sick. Something wrong with her.
okay. In addition,
So edit there because I think they stopped for a second. Haba Haba stopped him for a second, but he did the exact same motion twice, it looks like.
to the Russia hoax, the Ukraine hoax, the Mueller hoax, the lying to FISA hoax, the lying to Congress hoax, and the spying on your campaign hoax. Isn't it true that you also referred to the use of mail-in ballots as a hoax?
Yeah, I do. Sure. I do.
Yes, I don't even think there were any mail. Nobody mailed in their ballot. The fuck? Hold on. Play, stupid.
I
And
think they're very dishonest. Mail-in ballots, very dishonest.
And isn't it true that you yourself have voted by mail?
Sure. And I want you to know that I did not vote for who it turned out I voted for.
I do. Sometimes I do, but I don't know what happens to it once you give it. I have no idea.
It's all out in the ether. It's like any letter you mail. It's gone.
Are you familiar, I'm sure you are, with something that's often referred to as the Access Hollywood tape?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's mark it and play it as, what, 35.
The video contains graphic language. They pause it for a second.
You know, and
Okay.
She's still very beautiful.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try and fuck her. She was married.
Huge news there.
No, Nancy. No, this was marriages. And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took her out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look.
Jeez, your girl's hot as shit. In the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored. Oh, my man.
Yeah, Billy Bush is gross as well. Just saying.
Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your legs.
Set this up.
That is very
You give me the thumbs
Look
up.
at you. You are a
You
piece.
gotta put the thumbs up. You gotta get the thumbs up. Can't be too happy.
Yeah, let me.
It's very fun.
You gotta give me the thumbs up.
All right, you and I will walk down.
Oh my god.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her. It's
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I better use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
whatever you want.
Grab them by the pussy. I can do anything.
Jesus Christ. They should, by the way, they should blow up his picture a little bit more during that, because he does this kind of like, he almost recognizes that he's being a fucking gross. Almost.
All I can see is the legs.
No, it looks good.
Come on, shorty.
Oh, nice legs, huh?
Oof, get out of the way, honey. That's good legs. Go ahead.
It's always good if you don't fall out of the bus. Like Ford, Gerald Ford, remember?
There's a little down below. Pull the hand.
Hello, how are you? Hi.
Mr. Trump, how
nice
are
seeing
you?
you.
Pleasure to
Terrific.
meet you.
Terrific. You know Billy Bush?
How are you?
Nice to see you. How you doing,
Very
Ariane?
good.
Doing very well, thank you. Are you ready to be a soap star?
We're ready. Let's go. Make me a soap star.
How about a little hug for the Donald? He just got off the
Would
bus.
you like a little
Okay.
hug?
Fuck.
Darling.
Absolutely.
How about a
Melania
little
said
hug for
this
the
was
bushy? I
okay.
just got...
That's you in that
Look at the look on his face, like, maybe she didn't.
video, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And am I correct that that video was recorded in January, withdrawn? Am I correct that that video was recorded in September 2005?
I guess that would, I don't know the date, but whatever date it was is fine with me.
And am I correct that you were engaged to your current wife sometime in 2004?
I don't know.
Am I correct that
I don't know, honestly. After your second wife, you just kind of blow off all that bullshit.
you married your current wife in January 2005?
I don't know relative to that tape, no.
And the
Who gives a fuck? Why is it relative to the tape? The dates happen when they happen. Jesus Christ, don't get out of it. Just say so.
person you were speaking to, it's now famous, in that video was Billy Bush?
That's right.
Please
This
let
is
me...
this is very old news, fully litigated during debates, during everything else, fully litigated.
Fully litigated. Yep, the American people gave him a pass. Ladies and gentlemen, you and everyone around you is okay with this asshole grabbing women by the pussies because we heard it and he still got elected anyways by what was then slightly less than half the country.
Okay.
And you know what I said then, and I say it now? Locker room talk. That was locker room talk.
Okay.
That's what goes on.
Yes, because he spends a lot of time at the gym in lockers.
And you did say in the video that you, quote, moved on her heavily, correct?
Excuse me?
You do say in the video that you, quote,
Yeah.
moved on her heavily.
I did say that, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And you do say in the video that as part of trying to have sex with this woman, you took her furniture shopping, correct?
We actually did look for furniture, yes.
So that was true. You actually took this woman
I
Nancy,
think so.
furniture
It's
shopping.
been a long time ago.
It's been a long time. I mean, I've failed with so many beautiful women so many times.
But how long was that? A long time ago. But I think so. I do think so.
Is that the only occasion when you took a woman shopping?
I think so.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
Historically.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years,
Not actual stars, dummy. Like, how long does he think Hollywood?
that's been largely true.
Million years? What the fuck?
Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
Notice how he goes to fortunately after. Unfortunately or fortunately. Like for me, for guys like me, it's been really fortunate.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
And I consider myself to be over 1 million years old. That's what I feel like anyways.
I think you can say that, yeah.
And
I think you could say I'm a star. Yeah. Yeah, because politicians are stars. Game show hosts are stars. Second generation rich kids, often stars. I'm like a reality star. I would call myself an influencer because of my success as a microblogger.
now you said before, a couple of minutes ago, that this was just locker room talk.
It's locker room talk.
And so does that
Totally.
mean you didn't really mean it?
No, it's locker room talk. I don't know. It's just the way people talk.
Okay.
Yeah, people talk. They say shitty things about women when women are out of earshot. It's just a thing.
Right. Now, are you familiar with a woman by the name of Natasha Stoynoff?
No,
Stoynoff.
you'll have to give me a little bit of
Do
a
you remember
background.
she wrote? She wrote about you a lot when she worked at People magazine?
Oh, I do remember there was some woman
Some woman.
wrote, and then she, a long time later, I think she wrote a wonderful story, and then a long time later, as I remember it, a long time later she said that I was aggressive with her, but she wrote the most beautiful story,
It was like a note from Kim Jong-un.
and then all of a sudden, like, is it a year or 2 years later, she comes out with this phony story that I was aggressive. I said, well, why would she have written such a good story for People magazine? She wrote a really nice piece.
Ew. Just his hand gestures.
And then all of a sudden, like, years or months, many months later, she came up with this phony charge.
Let's watch a video, and again, I
Oui.
apologize for the technology, where you talk about Ms. Stoynoff's allegations.
Are we marking this?
We're going to mark it. It's a clip of a video from a campaign event in West Palm Beach on October 13, 2016, and we're going to mark it as
We only have like 35 other women.
DJT 36.
Then there was a writer from People magazine.
Magazine. Look at him reading it from the teleprompter too. This is back when he was saying only weak people use teleprompters and only the mob bleeds the fifth.
Who wrote a story on Melania and myself on our first anniversary. The story was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was lovely. But last night we hear that after 12 years, this took place 12 years ago, this story, a new claim that I made inappropriate advances during the interview to this writer. And I ask a very simple question. Why wasn't it part of the story that appeared 20 or 12 years ago? Why wasn't it part of the story? Why didn't they make it part of the story? I was one of the biggest stars on television with The Apprentice, and it would have been one of the biggest stories of the year.
I don't know. Why didn't they go after Bill Cosby sooner? Why didn't Harvey Weinstein get busted sooner? Why didn't somebody go after Jeffrey Epstein sooner? It's almost like there's a substructure where assholes like this get away with this kind of shit.
She's doing a story on Melania, who's pregnant at the time, and Donald Trump, our 1-year anniversary. And she said I made inappropriate advances.
Oi.
And by the way, the area was a public area, people all over the place. Take a look. You take a look. Look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think so.
You'd agree with me that the person you we're just talking about in that video was Natasha Stoynoff, correct?
Yes.
You're familiar with a woman by the name of Jessica Leeds?
No, I don't think so.
He's bullshitting.
Explain. Go ahead.
Does that mean that this refreshed your recollection of who
Yes,
Jessica
it
Leeds
does.
is?
This woman made up a story, just like your client made it up. Just made up a story.
Oh, this is the woman he attacked on the airplane.
Having to do with sitting next to me in an airplane. And I mean, I'll have to read this again, but that story was so false also. But this was, I guess, making out as opposed to what your clients.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, all I did was fondle her and grope her and kiss her. That's not the same thing. Like, obviously, it would be very difficult for me to get my dick out in first class.
This story was so false. This is a disgrace also.
And do you recall speaking about Ms. Leeds' allegations at campaign events in 2016?
I might have. I thought it was so, like your client, I thought it was so ridiculous.
Okay, let's take a look at the next video, which is DJT 38.
Ugh.
Correct?
Hopefully our great movement, and there's never been anything like this in the United
Yeah, obviously, the events lately in Turkey for Erdogan have been really disappointing for Trump.
States. And the only way they figure they can slow it down is to come up with people that are willing to say, oh, I was with Donald Trump in 1980.
Nothing changes.
I was sitting with him
Listen to him, like he's just feeling it all over
on
again.
an airplane. And he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you. Man. You don't know. That would not be my first choice.
Look how he loves what he's saying. Does this asshole think he's the same age he was in 1980? You get that feeling? Because I know he doesn't most of the time, but there seems to be this kind of idea that like they aged and they looked like they do now back then, and he looks like he did back then now.
When you said in that video that Ms. Leeds would not be your first choice, you were referring to her physical looks, correct?
Just the overall. I look at her, I see her, I hear what she says, whatever. You wouldn't be a choice of mine either, to be honest with you. I hope you're not insulted. I would not.
Ugh. Come on.
Not under any circumstances have any interest in you. I'm honest when I say it.
Yeah, I'm sure she's all broken up about it.
I would not have any interest in.
The video we just watched, where you talked about Ms. Leeds. What else did you know about Ms. Leeds that would indicate to you that she would not have been your first choice, other than how she looked?
I don't know. I think I probably saw her on television or
something like that.
Something. But I don't want to be insulting. But when people accuse me of something, I think I have a right to be insulting because they're insulting me. They're doing the ultimate insult. They make up stories, and then I'm not allowed to speak my mind. No, I disagree with that. No, she would not have been anywhere on a list. I just wouldn't have been for me.
No.
It's disgusting. It's what she said was disgusting. Can you imagine doing that on an airplane? What she said? I'm doing that on an airplane. That's almost as ridiculous as doing it in Bergdorf Goodman in a dressing room.
Well, if your idea is power plays on women in situations where you can make them feel afraid to reach out, or if you think that somehow they're into it and they don't tell anybody as opposed to being afraid or disgusted or feeling pressured or any of the other gross shit, that might be where you get off on it. That's how I would take it. And I, as someone who's actually it's part of the Mile High Club.
Isn't it true that just a few minutes ago you couldn't
And it wasn't my idea, although I was game.
remember the date of your engagement to your current wife, Melania?
Nah, God, I don't even fucking, I don't know, Christmas?
No. We're talking about a different thing. We're talking about a woman where something happened that was inappropriate, right? Inappropriate. It was highly inappropriate. She would remember that date. I would imagine she would have complained to the airline. She would know the flight. She would know everything about it. She didn't even know the year, as I remember it, just like your client doesn't know the year.
Well, yeah, they have the actual flight.
Doesn't know anything about it. If something happened like that to your client would know.
Motherfucker, you don't even know when you were married to any of your wives. You don't know when you owned the fucking Plaza Hotel.
The second, should know down to the second. Should know the day, the month, the year, right down to the second.
In the last paragraph of the statement that you made on June 21 that appears in the Laura Litvin's tweet, DJT20, you said as follows.
Last paragraph where?
DJT20.
Go ahead, what is it?
You say as follows. The world should know what's really going on. It is a disgrace, and people should pay dearly for such false accusations. You see that?
Yeah.
And the person you meant who should pay dearly for such false accusations was E. Jean Carroll, correct?
Yeah, and I think their attorneys too. I think the attorneys like you are a big part of it. Because you know it's a phony case.
Yeah, no, she doesn't. For the record. As a matter of fact, the more she sits across from him, I think it's abundantly clear that there's nothing to indicate that it's phony. By the way, you're watching HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide. We got through the whole thing. Look at us. Holy shit. We even have time left over for like some sort of a break in the trend of it, whatever. Oh God. I don't even want to. Okay. Well, we can center in on. We need a break from gross and just, I guess, go straight to just stupid. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the scraggliest that we've ever seen, Don Jr., with a blurred background, digitally blurred background. I think that's a Newsmax thing. He might have either done that in Zoom himself or somebody there did it because something in the background was grossly inappropriate or something. But apparently, Junior joins Higbee to discuss Hunter Biden investigations and the anti-Trump establishment uniparty. Oh God, if he says deep state, everybody's gonna just yell bingo in the middle of this fucking thing.
Hey, look at what they're doing with Trump.
What are they doing with Trump?
The FBI, which is the one organization that is
oh my gosh,
supposed to ensure this doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's the one organization that's supposed to make sure that what doesn't happen.
Allegedly buried information on the current president being bribed to influence foreign policy.
Oh yeah, allegedly. Yeah, I know. And you mean the thing that Chuck Grassley just said isn't true or might not be true, and he doesn't even really know. But yeah, I mean that shouldn't stop you.
We live in a clown world.
We do. Yeah, absolutely. And I like your makeup.
Well, joining me now is someone who's
speaking of clown world,
who's had to deal with a lot of this. The executive vice president of the Trump organization, Donald Trump Jr. Sir, appreciate you joining me.
Oh, I see. They blurred it because it looks like he has antlers coming out of his head.
Good to be with you, Carl.
All right, so
you guys have been together? Good for you. I mean, hey.
This is crazy. We are seeing this.
It's just nuts. It's insane.
Reporting recently as today. Hunter Biden, okay, clashing with his father's White House counsel over strategies.
Top aides of President Biden have clashed with Hunter Biden's team over strategies for dealing with legal battles and Republican attacks. Right? Okay. And?
For dealing with the legal battles. Oh, I mean, I got an idea.
Well, if his dad is involved in it and, obviously if Hunter's the bag man, he just follows orders.
Just turn everything over. If you're caught, right?
They're not caught. Yeah, again, these assholes, the idea, first of all, that there's a there is another story entirely. But the idea that this dickhead thinks that the Bidens are going to do their homework for them. Can you just, I don't know, I believe there's evidence of crimes. Can you just release some of it? Because we haven't seen any. We've had this fucking hard drive for 3 goddamn years. We've had a 1,000-page report from Chuck Grassley and still dick.
Well, you would think so. I mean, they continue to investigate us. 7 years of this stuff. Nothing's come of it.
Huh. Now, Occam's razor would say, probably because there's nothing to it. Occam's rubber mallet, obviously they're covering something.
And yet you have actual whistleblowers. Now, I remember a time.
Ooh, actual whistleblowers.
They said, oh.
Do they?
Carl, when whistleblowers were beyond reproach, like Alexander Vindeman leading us.
Vindeman? I don't know about Alexander Vindeman. I know Alexander Vindman, who, by the way, was a whistleblower, but also came forward, unlike the people you're talking about, which may or may not even fucking exist.
World War III and the Ukraine,
Saint.
and the guy that was offered, it's Saint. He was offered to be their defense minister. That's how saintly is. I'm sure he's looking out for America's best interest. Wonderful guy. When you see anyone that leaked against Donald Trump,
I don't read, obviously.
You can't leak a lie. I would like to remind everyone.
terrible peoples. But now the whistleblowers here, it's a whole different story. No one in the media wants to hear from them.
Why is Newsmax having you on instead of that person? Is this breaking news? Newsmax, what the fuck? How is this? Wait, listen to this again, real quick.
Whistleblowers here, it's a whole different story. No one in the media wants to hear from them. No one.
Yeah, Newsmax, what the fuck? RAV, RSBN. He can't even get a video posted on Truth Social? What the hell?
It's making them heroes. They're not signing 12 book deals.
Well, I mean, it's got to, obviously, you're going to need a much bigger scandal for that to be possible.
It's absolutely insane. And yet you have credible
the nonsense.
evidence. And by the way, of course you do, right? Do you think that China was giving Hunter Biden $1 billion for what? Because he's a great...
Because obviously they wanted the Quad back. They wanted effectively a version of TPP to get passed through to end their manufacturing hegemony in the South China Seas. They wanted the AUKUS agreement. They wanted Japan to ultimately add to that. They wanted the greatest reshoring of factories from China to the United States in our history. And they obviously wanted the CHIPS Act. And they wanted us to set their entire tech industry back a decade. That's what they were paying for. And that's what they got. Say what you will about the CCP, but once they get that GIMP hood on, they get kinky.
Head investor. I mean, you can say a lot about the Chinese. They're not good people, but they're not stupid. Right. They're not investing in crackheads. I bet you that's the only one. The same with the no-show jobs.
I'm sorry, your dad got $17 million into his bank account in China and took $15 million out in an evening while he was president. Was it, or did you do that? Maybe that's what we're learning. You were running the company. Maybe you had the ability to sign off on that stuff. Maybe, who was it that and that would be Carl Higby Sellers. Brandon, why aren't you asking him who was that took that money out of that account?
In Ukraine and the Russian oligarchs on the payroll. What does everyone think that?
Russian oligarchs on the payroll. So the Russian oligarchs paid Hunter Biden so that we would support Ukraine this heavily.
That was happening for because Hunter, an unheard of investor, was so good and so miraculous. No, they were buying and peddling influence for decades.
Yeah, but you're going to have to point to where it actually worked out. If they're buying the influence, the only answer is that if this really happened and the Chinese paid Biden they're getting fucked. He tricked them. Basically, Biden has, at this point, and I don't know why you guys aren't champions of his, apparently rolled China for $1 billion and then skull fucked them. It's so weird.
It's literally like a known thing in D.C.
It's totally known.
Like, the fact that the FBI is pretending that this may actually be something, it's ridiculous, Carl.
It is ridiculous that they're pretending it might actually be something. Good point.
We had your brother on here. We were talking about the horrific legal battles you guys have gone through and how transparent you've been. I am honestly...
What the fuck are you talking about? Eric pled the fifth 400 times. I wish they had asked 100 more questions so it could have been the fifth 500 times.
Though, I mean, with all of Hunter's expertise in international business, I'm surprised you guys haven't hired him as your primary consultant.
Well, yeah, but the Trump organization is a failing business affair. So if they hired Hunter, much like Burisma,
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, they say, pronounce it Burmese.
that those, he helped turn that company around, and now it is profitable. That's not what you guys want.
I mean, obviously.
Well, listen, I feel like a schmuck. I feel like a schmuck that I haven't been out there peddling influence to foreign countries for billions of dollars.
Well, I don't think that's because Jared ate up all that business while you were busy signing documents for your fucking dad. But the problem is, Hunter Biden on crack is a more trustworthy business associate than you are. Hunter Biden on crack literally has a better business track record than Don Jr. as far as profitable deals. That's not even a question.
Seems like that's okay, but I have a feeling if it was Don Jr., Carl, it would be different. Because
it would, because you're not good at anything.
Obviously, Don and your stupid
double standard
patriotism.
in the law.
Yeah, you and your stupid patriotism, Don. I mean,
what patriotism?
Come on. All right, so the FBI, they hid these, right now it appears, they've hid these
patriarchism? Is that where he loves his dad over the country?
On Biden. Biden. And
basically.
Freudian slip.
Basically.
So they've hid all these documents. And the bigger problem is, like, yes, does it look like he did this? Sure. Is this really bad luck for the sitting president? Absolutely. But the bigger problem is you have an entire law enforcement agency that sat on this for like 10 years.
They didn't sit on documents. That he didn't have the Senate documents the entire time. He got those out while he was vice president, and Obama gave him the right to declassify stuff. So even if Trump wants to use that as an excuse for why he has some of his shit, then he also has to understand that anything that Biden left the White House with is his magically or whatever. Even still, they handled it correctly. He didn't hold on to this from when he was a senator, and the argument is that he may have it at his house currently from that time, looking back on bills and stuff that they tried to pass. This is so lazy.
Well, they're sat on it and they're running cover. I mean, these are people.
Yes, they ran cover for it all during your dad's presidency because, I guess he was too busy golfing.
That are, the deep state. These are people that.
He said it. All right, bingo, everybody. We've got deep state, establishment, uniparty. Swamp is next. We have to get Swamp.
Have been appointed by Democrats. They've taken over the rule of law at the upper levels. We have to make the distinction, Carl.
They've taken over the rule of law at the upper levels.
Just like in the military. What's going on in your Navy, a little different with the leadership.
Wait, it's his Navy now?
That is promoting, drag queen influencers and guys like you who served in the teams, right? There's two different things. The door kickers are not the same as the bureaucrats.
The door kickers. Motherfucker, you accused the FBI of kicking the doors in at Mar-a-Lago and they didn't.
Right. So we always have to make.
What fucking door kickers? He released the footage of the Mar-a-Lago search and seizure warrant then. If the door kickers are on your side, show how they shredded documents on your behalf or hid stuff that was actually there because they actually support you, or explain to me how the door kickers are on your side, but those are the very people that supposedly planted documents there. Good fucking Lord.
Distinction. And the same is in the FBI. The guys that are the door kickers.
There are no door kickers in the fucking FBI.
The amount of guys that come up to me and they can't believe what's going on. But that.
Yeah, I could count them on half a hand.
That doesn't stop them. That doesn't stop the leaders from using the hostage rescue team, like, the SEAL teams of federal law enforcement, to exercise a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago. That's not because they're better at.
No, it's because they're trustworthy and patriotic and they know their job and they didn't have a hostage negotiation. They hadn't had one in months. That a lot of them do double duty and do these kind of bigger events. And it was a large environment to cover.
Search warrants. That's not what they do. They take out terrorists on planes. They do.
Well, unfortunately, we just don't have enough terrorists on planes then, I think, is the thing. God damn it, Biden, you did it again.
Do that to instill fear in their political opponents, in their enemies. And they've made that very clear. And again, it's not like you got rid of Trump and all of a sudden things worked out really well for America.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Fucking 3.4% unemployment, wage growth, the inflation coming down. It's terrible. Again, the stock market's still up, even though it's still what, 3,000 points up from where it was when he took office, and even with the dip and the war, fucking hell.
Right? I mean, there's not a single metric in our country where we are better off now than we were 2.5 years ago.
Well, that's because you think black unemployment dropping below 5% for the first time is actually bad.
Yeah. But that doesn't matter because
you're not paying attention.
The bureaucrats are
because 3.4% unemployment is great.
In control. Their friends are getting rich.
How are they getting rich? If that would be a metric. Somebody's getting rich off this.
Trying to get us into wars so they can sit on the board of Raytheon and keep doing that.
Yes, they're trying to get us into World War III, into a nuclear war, so they can sit on the board of a defense contractor on the burned out husk of the earth.
Absolutely disgusting what's going on in our country. They are,
and you got to stop it. You can't let it happen. The nonsense.
Pillaging our resources.
They're pillaging our resources. They're drilling for oil in Alaska now. And they're fucking
They are enriching themselves. They are corrupted and they are broken, and it has to stop.
Again, these are. I hear your complaints. They seem to be about your dad. I think this is about Ivanka and Jared more than anything, right?
And if everyone doesn't see it at this point, there's not much help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're just beyond it. I guess we would have, we'll look. I'll check it out. You know what? Over the next couple days, everybody, chat room, let's keep our eyes open for some terrible. Beyond, of course, the obvious areas where Republicans are happy to keep it terrible, like lack of proper gun legislation.
Don, I'm sure you've spoken to him real quick. How do you think Tucker's doing right now?
I'm sure you've spoken to him. He's not returning my calls. Has he called you?
Listen, I think he's doing pretty well. He's a good friend. He's doing well. Obviously, was surprised by it, and I think probably everyone in the conservative movement was. I think he's an incredible voice.
First of all, you've got notes on this shit too. No, I don't think he's spoken to you. I don't think he fucking called you. I think he talked to other people. Why the fuck would he talk to you? But I think you're trying to get points on, like, yeah, he calls me. I'm his sounding board. I'm his rock.
For those, and I think he called out a lot of stuff that the Uniparty.
Uniparty. Look, that's a bonus one.
Doesn't agree with, and
the Uniparty doesn't agree with.
I think we need a little bit more of that because, again.
Yes, we need people to call out things the Uniparty doesn't agree with. Which would be things they call out things they don't agree with. He calls out things they don't agree with, which means he's saying the things they're for. Yeah.
There's what conservatives feel, right? We've heard this from Mitch McConnell. Ukraine is the number one thing Republicans are worried about. I'm like, I've been all over the country, Mitch. Like, not a single Republican. It's not even top 10 for them.
Yeah, but those are the ones that would talk to you, which is a dwindling crowd.
Right now, it's not even top 10, and yet it's his number one concern. So calling that out, you're actually going against the DC establishment, not just
establishment. Yay, we're covering all these shit. No,
Republicans or not just Democrats. You're going against the Uniparty, which has also put us in these very precarious and stupid situations.
Wasn't your father a president of the United States of America for 4 fucking years? He was president as long as most people go to university. He was president during someone's entire high school. 4 fucking years he was president. I'm starting to think that whole thing about him knowing all hashtag the best people and the best words and knowing more about everything than everybody who actually knows stuff about anything is I'm dubious now.
Yeah, he was big on the neocons.
Oh yeah, he's big, super big.
That was the major point of contention. Donald Trump Jr.
That's a gibberish sentence. He was big on the neocons, and it was a major point of what?
Yeah, he was big on the neocons, and I think that was the major point of contention. Donald Trump.
That's gibberish. That's just. I need to say some words.
Trump Jr., we appreciate you being here, sir.
That's not true. You can't lie to the guy on his way out the door.
Thanks a lot.
And by the way, have fun fucking Ted Nugent or whatever you're doing at that weird place. Is that a snowshoe or a crutch?
Carl.
Thanks, Carl. I've got to go rub oil on Ted Nugent's bunions. Whew. World's longest toilet break for 4 fucking... Doesn't that strike me as like... They seem to leave out the fact that Trump was fucking president for 4 goddamn years. Yeah, hit the like, give a thumbs up, support the show. And by the way, Buddha and Eagle, thanks for the super chat this morning. I didn't get to see it because I was dealing with the fucking collapsing broadcast. And I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you for the super chats and the support. Thank you for becoming Patreon subscribers. All the stuff I can't see, but that pops up. Zealot 1239, thanks for following. And we're over 50K, 100,000. I don't know if I'm gonna have to do some sort of like oiled up and shirtless episode or not. Do the opposite. We'll have to do some big live event. I think that's would be good. I'm gonna do a live show for my 100,000 subscriber for like the week. I think that's what I'll do. I'll set up a thing. Once we get to 100,000, I'm going to set up a thing either here in Vegas or in Los Angeles, maybe at Flappers or something, where I'll do my live stream with a live audience present. That'd be good, right? And then if I can get that set up in a situation where I can bring it around, then I can bring it with me and I can do it in other places like comedy clubs. And they're like, all right, I have time? We got 7 minutes left. I don't have time enough for the... Good Lord. Oh dear. Okay, this should cover it. One of the things we worry about, I don't have a lot of time, but I can do this one. One of the things I worry about is, when you're listening to Trump talk about his grotesque, aggressive sexual behavior with women, which again, often said, anybody, if you have to grab them, you're not doing it right. They should, if you play your cards right, they ought to land in your hand like a dove. I think we should all consider ourselves lucky that he didn't actually expose himself during the actual, hold on, let me see if I can bring this back in. Just screen this in. Woo! Apparently we've got Soda Fountain Glenn Beck today with Stu. I think this is him on Stu's show. This looks like this. Stu wears a suit on his own show. Glenn Beck uncovers, look at the title of this fucking thing. Good Lord. Glenn Beck uncovers God's role and the left's hidden agenda. So the left is working for God now, I guess, is the thing. Whew. All right, this is a quickie, hopefully. Otherwise, if I don't become enraged, wish me luck.
This is something I've noticed. It's difficult.
Here's something I've noticed. The more Sonic I eat, the tighter this chair gets.
To operate a civilization when the things that were fiction just a year, 2 years, 5 years ago are now not only fact, but also if you don't go along with them completely, you're ostracized and deleted from society. That's not.
I thought he was talking about AI for a second, and now he's just talking about, like, the gay agenda.
It's not easy to run a civilization doing that. Sure.
Tell us how to run a civilization, Glenn. And also, how much phosphate do you add to a strawberry lithium shake?
Because they're training you to be compliant and knowing which side are you on. Are you?
Yes, they're training us all. I can feel myself being trained to be compliant. I don't know about you. I think it was public schools. Obviously, he went to public school and so did Stu. But for something, somehow, the rest of us went to public school and turned us into mindless drones who can't understand nuance or anything at all. Everything presented to us has got to be a slippery slope leading to, oh, that's him.
You with the authoritarians, are you the Nazi? And you will go.
No, I am not. I'm just, for the record, I am against not only the racial and philosophical and sort of esoteric, weird Raiders of the Lost Ark shitty parts of the Nazis, but also National Socialism, as they would carry a terrible idea, just not functioning at all. No, I'm not. I'm just, put me, do you have a chalkboard list? Put me in the not.
Whatever they tell you to do.
I'm not Nazis. That can be confusing at some point. Anti-Nazis, something like that.
And what is right, you won't think, you'll just do. I was just following orders.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Like somebody told me to wear this stupid fucking tie, and I just like, okay.
Okay, are you that person? Or are you an independent free thinker that is like, no, that doesn't make sense. I'm not doing that.
That happened during, especially when the Nazis were coming up. There were a bunch of people who were like, get the people under the train and people killed them all. Like, nah, I don't know. I don't buy it. But you're going into the train as well. You know what? Run that by me again. I think I might be in on this shit. Now, you know what? I don't think this whole depopulation scheme thing, I'm not sure. I'm going to need some more details.
So they separate us first. They demonize, dehumanize one side. But let me take it away.
Which side would that be? The other side from whatever your side is?
Away from that, because I think that is much more of a distraction. Imagine they weren't teaching this stuff in our schools.
Nazism? Okay, I'm imagining it. Sure.
Imagine if they weren't picking at us all the time, poking.
Yeah, why? Hey, Mr. Phosphate, why? Stop eating Sonic all the time and drinking sodas. It's bad for you, and it's making your neck all gouty. And what's with the bow tie? You trying to suck up with Tucker Carlson? Boink, boink. People are always doing that to, why won't you leave him alone? Whoops, not wise.
Prodding us. They were just going down the road of ESG.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they were just going down the rocky road of ESG, if you know what I'm saying.
Of a world government, of change.
Yeah, if they weren't bugging you about it, but you could just, comfortably just wake up one day with a one world government controlling everything.
Changing our currency, okay,
to crypto? What are you talking about?
The banking collapse.
The banking collapse. Which one would you be? Oh, you mean the couple of local banks that have had an issue because they got into crypto because of people like you saying the dollar sucks, and so they thought the crypto would be a way that you could get out of decent.
Imagine we were together on everything except what's happening. Okay.
Yeah, if we were it's a good point. Imagine we're all in this together except for things that occur. You know what I mean? And people would try to drive a wedge between us and there's a thing what's the thing that happens that there's a word for it. That thing that occurs, the reality, life, whatever. Anyways, life, reality, one of those two things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. Keep thinking, dummy. Fuck, this is stupid.
They'd never get away with it.
They would never get away with it if they would just leave us alone and let us. What?
They have us so distracted on things that everyone easily knows. That is crazy.
Yeah. Those make the best distractions or the obvious distractions. You know what I mean? Because it's when a magician is like, hey, follow this, kids. There we go. We foo like that, and then but they do it with their penis out, and you're like, well, how did that? Oh, you had me looking, and then I saw you put the thing in your pocket. No, that's not my card.
So we look at the other thing that they're doing.
Yes, world's worst magician. That's the problem with the Illuminati.
Go, well, that's crazy too, but it's not. This one's really pissing me off because it's about my kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're the whole like trans kids things is a way to just distract you guys, get you hyper focused on something that just riles you up. Even though it affects 0.5% of the populace max, that's your whole fucking day, all day and all night. Of course, that's how we're switching cars to electric behind your back.
We're all distracted over here.
Yes, and somebody pointed out there is a big pillow behind Glenn's back, but that's because his back's sore from working out too much.
And the real thing that is going to destroy our children's future.
Yeah, climate, pollution, reliance on fossil fuels from violent regimes, that kind of stuff? Or, oh no, you mean getting electric cars or something?
Is happening right over here in plain sight.
Is this?
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there. And we're too busy being freaked out about like drag queen story hour that doesn't even happen just with any regularity at fucking all. We're so caught up in that we don't even realize that the left is getting their agenda behind our back.
Sort of part of the gap.
Oh yes, CRT. Is that what you think they're talking about? CRT? I think they're talking about drag. Either way, it's the same shit.
In which we're kind of directed toward fighting these battles that we shouldn't have to fight, right? Like
yeah. Like that's exactly right. These are battles you shouldn't have to fight, but then you do. I mean, that's the mission you're called for, Stu. You don't get to choose the path that God puts you on. You just have to walk down it, or I guess hopscotch or whatever you do.
We shouldn't be in a battle to convince each other that men are men or women are women. Like that should just be no.
Well, yeah, I mean, but look at the two of you. I mean, the only indicators that you're men at all is the sort of cultural norm that you're wearing suits, and one of you has a goatee. Although I've had some great grandparents, great grandmothers who had furry chins. It's okay, it happens at some point. The two of you are kind of in charge of talking us all into what manliness is. That might be your problem. It might be all the fucking plastic cups you're drinking out of that are filling your body with estrogen mockers and the sugar that you're dumping down your fucking gullet and your lifestyle bullshit that is going to kill you long before Agenda 21. Good Lord.
Correct. Instead, we're spending so much time doing that, as you've pointed out many times, watch the other hand.
Right. On nonsense.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right. You and Stu all day, every fucking day, talking about nonsense. Just nonstop. It's all garbage. You're right. There's nothing worth this. You don't talk about anything, Glenn. You're wasting your life. You're so close to it. You're so close to a realization.
This is nonsense.
Yes, that's. I'm sure that's what you say right before you start rolling every day.
10 years ago, somebody would have been like, you know what? Women can have a penis and prostate cancer. And we'd go, I'm not even talking to you.
Right.
Who's the dope?
Yeah, well, if they said it like that with that kind of voice, I think everybody would respond.
Dismiss him.
Wait a minute. How do you know it's a him with that kind of voice? I can't tell. I mean, the way you did it, I think it was a girl. I don't want to misgender anybody. If you find out later, let me know. Go take a look. You might want to turn them upside down like a kitten to see what you're dealing with.
That's the thing that I was really thinking about, because I really had a spiritual moment here over the.
Oh, thank God. I was hoping for something rational, but fuck that. Whoops. Whoa.
Last month.
Mm-hmm.
I had like a really very spiritual 2 weeks. And
did you? Is that why you're wearing a seersucker suit or is that burlap? I had a spiritual. I realized, you know how some people realize they're Jesus Christ and they end up in a loony bin. I realized I'm Burlives.
I was moved by
a spasm in my colon. Fiber.
God is not surprised.
Oh, good. Good to know. I have to say, supposedly God is and of everything, and I would say that there's one. If I could pick one emotion that God couldn't feel, it would be surprise. Honestly, that's the whole thing about being extratemporal or metatemporal, I suppose, is a possibility.
He's very aware of.
Don't nod, Stu. Don't pretend you know what the fuck he's talking about.
All of us.
He's very, yes, he knows who you are, Glenn. He knows. He'll get to it later. Yes.
He wants all of his children back.
He wants all of his children back. Wait a minute. Had they been kidnapped? Good Lord. What kind of ransom can you get from God?
He knows exactly who and what we're fighting. He knows. It's evil.
Or his other children, for some reason.
He knows. And, while we may have to say, in the name of, I denounce you and get out of here.
Is that an exorcism? Or are you just telling people someone's already in the stall?
He doesn't.
No, obviously God doesn't have to cast out demons. He made all of them. All of them. God made every demon that exists and could make them vanish retroactively. He could get rid of all the demons and everything they've ever done and invert the timescape in which they did it. I mean, if it's God we're talking about, not some sort of like spiritual middle manager.
He's just like, you're dismissed.
He's like, I don't even have to fucking. People have to try hard. I don't have to try hard. I'm fucking God. Get the fuck out of it. That's the great thing about God is his ego. Enormous.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Just shoot. Fuck off. And the demon's like, you made me. Because you can't have free will unless you have a definite decision, and I'm here to present a real decision. So without me, there is no counterbalance. You created this entire. What do you mean leave? I have my reports. You asked me to bring in the report on the other shit.
Satan is great power. You're dismissed.
Yeah, Satan's bink. He could do it, but he doesn't. Even with all the child molestation and the murder and the killing of innocents and the boiling people alive and the slaughter and he could just boop and the guy'd be gone. And he was like, I don't know. He's kind of charming. You know what I mean? It's like having a giant Mephistopheles looking pet goat.
No big deal. No big deal. He has
none. No big deal. He could do it in a second.
He has no fear.
Right, yeah, because he's immortal. All fear and anger are based on loss. And if you can't lose because you're God, he could literally Thanos his way into creating an entire universe of just people who like him. This is so fucking dumb.
If he has no fear, and we know he knows us, and he...
Right, and he has talked to the guy and given him the thing already, and he's going to meet us with the thing in the back with the bag, and he sees, and then, right? Huh?
He knows what situation we're in.
He definitely knows.
And we're in line with him.
There's a line now. Well, I'm saying if we're all in line with God, I'm going to let him cut. I'm going to let him go ahead. I don't know if it'll help my chances, but I'm not going to take the fucking... if I have an opportunity to let God cut in front of me in line, I'm going to do it. Because what if that was the big test? But then, of course, is that in and of itself a sin? And yeah, it means I didn't have faith in his ability to wait forever. But then I'm in spirit form as well in this particular case. So I'm eternal. So we could both be here for genuinely forever. This is so confusing. I don't know. I think I would still let him I would let him in line in front of me. I think so. Yeah.
What do you have to worry about?
You're right. I don't feel like I have anything to worry about at all. Nothing. You're sounding a lot like Course in Miracles, actually.
Sincerely.
Yeah. Stu, what's your fucking problem? What do you have to worry about besides, obviously, arteriosclerosis?
What do you have to worry about? Everything else is just passing.
So,
yeah, everything else is temporary, like your life.
Because I like that approach. We've talked about also kind of a similar one of just looking at everything and saying, wow, I can't wait to see how that turns out. Yeah. You know, kind of having in a way.
You become just an observer.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't connect to anything in life. It's very Buddhist if you think about it. You know, detachment is what they would call it. Or in the Nietzsche kind of nihilist view, not giving a fuck about anybody else. And as it just goes by, just stop caring. It's a great message, actually. I think if the New Testament is about anything, it's about not caring anymore. Well said, Glenn and Stu.
But if we don't fight these battles,
well, I'm not saying don't fight.
No. They just only fight things you don't care about, is what he's saying. I hear you.
He's saying don't worry about, don't take the outcome on. Don't take the outcome on.
Yeah, deal with the problem, like the fact that the cameraman is maybe drunk.
Worry about, don't take the outcome on. Don't take the outcome on.
I don't know. You might want to
worry about, don't take the outcome on. Don't take the outcome on. You just do the next right thing, whatever that is. And most people will dismiss the next right thing because they won't think it matters.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you there, because I can't decide. I'm a Libra. It's a thing. Sometimes I get indecisive, and I can't decide whether this is bullshit or gibberish. And it might be just bull gibberish. Is that a thing? Is that gibber shit? I think it might be gibber shit. I think hashtag gibber shit. This is someone trying to bullshit with gibberish. Hashtag gibber shit.
But all of the little stuff matters like crazy right now.
Okay, that's the exact opposite of. So the little stuff matters, but the big stuff doesn't. Cool.
Just do whatever it is. The next.
Here's what you should do. You want to know what you should do? Watch his fucking hand right here. Okay, look at him squeezing his fucking hands while he's talking. Let's put aside for a second the fact that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and he's just filling time and talking out of his ass, and he's trying to conjure meaning out of nowhere. Look how hard he's fucking squeezing his hand. And when he lets go, the inflammation in his body and his blood flow is so shitty, his skin looks jaundiced as the skin starts coming out. Watch. Watch when his hand comes loose.
Just do whatever it is, the next right thing. Just do that. And do it right.
He just like squoze all the color out of his hand and it went yellow. Fucking gross.
Get yourself in alignment with him. The whole world will burn down. But if you're in alignment with him, it won't matter.
Yeah, so what? Again, what? All right, then don't do a political show, fuckhead, at all. This is why church should stay separate. That's why. Look, I have no problem with people who want to operate on the spiritual life that we have after this and the behavior that we should reflect in while we're here. Either because it's the best way to be and you should be good, or you might get punished or you won't get the reward depending on if you're a fucking spiritual child and you got to behave while you're here. Otherwise you get thrown in the big lake of fire, or you won't get the fucking harp and the cookie and the wings when it which is I mean, it's a spanking or a cookie. It's infantile. But I don't have a problem with that if you're making that fucking argument. Then don't get involved in fucking politics every goddamn day. Keep your stupid seersucker nose out of it.
It really won't matter. And
right. So shut the fuck up, close down the blaze, move on. What?
You know, I said I had a spiritual moment, and I feel compelled to share this because
fuck off.
It is true.
I don't like being in the position of denying someone's spiritual moments, but this just reeks of bullshit. This just, you smell that? Mm-hmm.
And I think my calling of warning is over, but I think my
Your calling of warning
now is to tell you the truth about God.
Oh, get the fuck. What'd I tell you? This asshole is trying to find a way because he's been so wrong about politics repeatedly, and he does not know what the fuck he's talking about on economic news or any of this stuff. Everything is turning out to be wrong. He's called everything, like, he does these big fucking bulletin board or chalkboard story hours, and none of it turns out to be worth a hill of fucking beans. And now he wants to tell everybody about God because nobody can check your fucking homework. And I've said that the whole concept of the blaze, that eventually he would get to being the next Reverend Gene Scott. That's what he wants. He wants to fucking park his ass in front of 2 chalkboards on a stage and just live a tax-free life.
He is right now. And that is overwhelmed with, I gotcha. I gotcha. I got the whole thing. I got it.
He's got the whole world in his hands, is what you're saying? It's almost, I don't know, something like poetic or even lyrical about that. If you had the right melody, I think that could be an earworm.
Relax.
Yes, Stu. Fucking relax, okay?
You've warned. There are many people who are more prepared. This audience is more prepared than any other audience in the world.
Yes, absolutely. Of all the end time bullshitters, we have probably a slightly bigger reach than Waco if the videos are still online. Are they still online? I think they're still online.
I mean, it's got to be true.
Got to be true.
It's got to be true. It has to be. Microchips in your arm are now a thing in Australia. That's what YouTube wants us to watch next. Shit.
So now it's time to just buckle up and know that you've done all the best that you could.
Yeah, just write it out. Don't do anything. Don't vote. Don't march. Don't donate to anybody. Don't even watch the Blaze anymore. Just buckle in and go down in the bunker and start eating the beans. Don't forget to open the vent because you're going to be down there a long time.
Continue to walk with him because he has you.
Yes, walk with the Lord because he's with you and he will be with you as long as you're with him and he's with me and I'm with him and I walk with the Lord. Jesus wants you to understand that all the warnings have not been for naught, okay? The Lord wants you to understand that you look down, there used to be two footprints in the sand, and now there's 3 because the Lord is, you and the Lord are in a 3-legged race. And up next is the fucking burlap sack race, and then you and the Lord are gonna put a spoon in your mouth, and then you're gonna put an egg on it, and then one of you's gonna run it over the other without dropping an egg, and then try to get it into their spoon, and then get it back, and then run back the other way or whatever, and then there'll be a cow chip throwing contest. That'll be at 7:30 for those of you that want it. And of course, the chili cook-off is right before that, because where you think we get the cow chips from? Sorry. I should have just sprung that on you. That was just rude. Thank you guys for watching. No show tomorrow because I have sound check right around the time the show should be on. And let's see. Yes, and then Wednesday, of course, our dear friend Philip Bittner will be on with us as we catch up as we're rolling in, because tomorrow is the big day. Yeah. Tomorrow is the Russian holiday, and then the day after that, everybody thinks that's when shit's really going to start getting real as far as the spring offensive. So we shall see what we shall see. But anyways, I love you guys, and I want to tell you right now: walk with the Lord, but walk like an Egyptian and walk like a man, and walk this way. Especially you schoolgirl, classy with the classy kind of sassy little skirt climbing way up her knee. Yeah. That walk with the Lord in sexy negligee, I think, is the message that we're trying to bring to everyone. So take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up. Check out your way out. Share the show. I haven't been saying any of this shit. I was so shocked when we cleared 50,000 that I was like, I'm not doing any of the work that I should be doing. It's pitiful. But you guys will do it for me, won't you? Won't you guys be glad to help? Won't you help me make the show kind of, perhaps? Maybe?
I think people saw that loud and clear.
Piece of malware called QSnatch.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
Moon River. Michigan gave us Motown. They said, oh.
Again, the words are conditions.
Christopher Columbus, when they gaze upon Yosemite, here I am like an idiot.
I felt really good almost after taking it.
You know the expression? Free health care for illegal. You know the expression? They don't like the gas.
I was a private business people.
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.